All right, good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to give a couple seconds here for it to come up on the different streams, YouTube and Facebook, and it looks like we are up on both at this point, which is great. So welcome to our third LessonPix Live of the week. This is getting a little exhausting, Beth, a little bit exhausting.
It'd be more fun if we were in Orlando, then we wouldn't care about being tired, but it's all good.
That is absolutely true. And I appreciate everybody for joining us this afternoon. This is like I said, our third of these live product showcases from ATIA. They asked us to do product showcases this week. So we decided to show our friends and show how they're using LessonPix in their classrooms and in their practices. And we have new friends today. So far, if you've missed them, they're all available on YouTube and Facebook. So we had on Monday, who do we have on Monday?
We had Caroline Musselwhite on.
We had Caroline Musselwhite on Monday talking about AAC. Yesterday, and Jean Marie from
Jean Marie Jacoby from John Johnston.
And then yesterday we had Cough Drop Brian Whitmer and Alyssa Warren talking about access and the fantastic things that are happening there with COVID Speak and with the AT Maker stuff. And that was all my love was yesterday. Today we have something that I know very, very little about, so I'm going to learn a bunch. I've already learned a bunch from these three ladies. And we're going to talk about low vision, high contrast symbols, Braille symbols, a lot of things dealing with supporting those with low vision. And I have Beth to thank for these three. So about a year ago, we hired Beth. Been a great choice. So great addition, right, Lori? Yes, you're muted still, dear.
No, yes.
You know, okay. So, but yeah, we brought Beth on about a year ago, and she's been a great addition. But one of the nice things about having her is we can actually say, I need people who know more about low vision, high contrast than we do. And she immediately knew. Like she said, "Oh, I've got Jen and Karen, and they're right around the corner." And so we got them on a call. I don't know when was it? About 2 months ago, 3 months ago?
November, October.
Yeah. And they told us exactly what we could do to quickly improve our low vision support, and we did it, and we did it quickly. And so we're going to talk about what we did and what they asked us to do and why. We're also going to announce some new stuff today. But Beth, why don't you tell us who these folks are and how you know them, etc.
I'll be happy to. So yeah, through the wonderful state of Maryland and our state assistive technology network, I have known Karen and Jen for a long time, for any number of years. So Jen Keenan is a special educator who is member of the assistive technology team with the Maryland School for the Blind. And Karen Nord is an occupational therapist who is also a member of the AT team with the Maryland School for the Blind. And then Brittany Guerreri, did I say that right, Brittany? Close enough, I'm sorry, is a teacher of the visually impaired at TVI. And we were really thrilled that she was able to join in on our conversations and really give her perspective. Because yeah, this wasn't something I knew much beyond having, like blue and yellow or having a dark background and bright colors. It wasn't my area of expertise either. And we have all learned a lot from Karen and Jen and Brittany and how to best use these. So yeah, thank you guys so much for being a part of this.
Yeah, and I really appreciate it. It was something that we've been wanting to do for a long time. We false started a couple times on high contrast symbols, and you guys were able to kind of get us over the hump. And Brittany, before you start, I know Brittany's going to share some things first. Before you do you want to walk through what we did, or do you want me to walk through and then you can share how you're using it?
Well, if you'd like to walk through it, I think that what I'm going to show you is a new material, so I don't want to take that away from you, but no. So I'm so excited to share about it.
Well, let me give the short version of what we've added so that people know what the new features here are. If you're new to LessonPix, it's probably if you're existing LessonPix person, you probably want to know what's new. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real briefly. And so this is obviously LessonPix. I'm logged in to my account. So basically we did two things. The first thing we did was we had Lori go crazy and draw a whole bunch of high contrast core symbols. And so these are symbols that are the saturation is ramped up, the contrast is ramped up, and these ladies actually helped us figure out what the coloring should be and what the outlining should be. You'll notice that every one of these comes in a version that has a black background and one that doesn't. So if you're in PowerPoint and you want to put this on an existing dark background, there is a clear version here, right? And then if you're in a different situation and you want to have a black background, that's here as well. And so these are just our core words, and it's like these aren't enough. These aren't enough. This absolutely is not enough of a high contrast symbol set to say that we have a complete one. But it's also not kind of reasonable to say we're going to take all 50,000 symbols plus all the 6,000 Unity symbols and go through all of them and make them high contrast. So the second thing we did, and this is where they were super helpful, is we made a tool. We augmented a tool where if you are taking a look at an area like transportation and you have a picture that you want to make high contrast, like something simple, like, I don't know, this boat, right? If you want that, we've always had this Recolor and Customize tool. What we've added here is tools to make this easier to make this high contrast, right? So you can go in and say, I want to give it a black background, and you'll get a black background. Obviously, this is no longer high contrast, and I picked one that's tough, and Lori's going to give me grief about it because it has transparency in it, which is a big no-no for us. We also added filters that will now go through and add the outline and make it sharp, and I picked an awful one. Well, I'm going to back up. I'm going to pick one that doesn't have transparency in it, but we'll do this wheel. Sorry, Lori.
Oh, that'll be fixed. Don't worry.
Yeah, I know it'll be fixed by the end of the day. But again, if we click this, it will make it brighter, add the white outline, add a black outline behind that, and make this much sharper. So all of our pictures now, pictures of people, pictures of activities, anything that we've got in here, if you want a high contrast version, you can quickly do it. You can go in and say, I want a black background. I want to add the high contrast filters, and it will give you fewer colors, higher contrast, a white outline around the entire picture, and you can save this and use it in your own library. So that will go here under your LessonPix. It will be one of your custom symbols. And as you can see, not only does this work with the LessonPix symbols, it also works with all of the Prenki Unity symbols. So if you go in here, you can click and say, I want this ache picture. I want to take it, make it high contrast, and you can do that. I want to put a black background behind it. I want that too. And again, we've made a high contrast version of one of the Unity symbols. So those are the things that we did back in November. Let's talk a little bit about those and how you guys have used them. And then we added something today, which we'll announce after Brittany chats with us. How's that sound?
That sounds great.
All right.
So first, I am really excited about the high contrast materials. I think as a TVI or an educator in general at the Maryland School for the Blind, or anyone who is working with students who are blind or visually impaired, we spend hours and hours creating materials because all of the kids use different accommodations. So to see that there was a quick way for us to swap out each color, a quick way to have it outlined, that takes away so much preparation time, which is hard to come by, especially with the different types of teaching models we are now doing. So that was really exciting. What I was actually going to show is a new material you haven't shown yet.
It's okay. Go ahead.
I don't want to take that one away.
You're good. You've got the floor. Take it.
No, are you sure?
Yeah. Go explain what it is. Tell them what we did this week.
Okay, so what's new this week is Braille Letters on LessonPix. So it's the actual dots that represent each letter, which is how our students, read and write. So what was really exciting about this is that there's the ability to make it large print as well, and then be able to transfer that over to fun games for our kids to play, incorporating that social interaction. So what I actually created was a game today to show with the Braille dot.
All right, show us. Let's see.
Okay. All right,
Today, are you
so
showing
I
that?
have my two students, Karen and Jen here,
Yep.
who were previously had materials at home. So what we do each week is, and I know every school is different, but each week we actually deliver materials home to the students. So, you know, they'll get picture cards or they'll get their symbols or something that we're going to work on each week. So for my students who are learning Braille, they have muffin tins, if you guys would like to show them.
Or
Or
herb
various-
trays,
What'd you say, Karen?
or herb freezing trays, or little
Yes.
paint palettes from the dollar store.
Let me make it so you guys can see each other because I know you can't right now.
No, I can actually see them.
There you go. All right. So what are these again?
Mine is a muffin tin from the
Muffin
dollar
tin.
store. And typically I would add maybe like black or red so you could see in it. I did take a Sharpie marker around the edge.
Yeah, I
just so
see that. Yep.
A little bit of a difference.
Mine's an herb freezing tray that ping pong balls fit into very nicely. But another option is the dollar store sells these little paint palettes, 6 of them in a pack. So I've just taken one of them and just took a Sharpie to highlight each little Braille cell.
Look at that. And there's 6 dots.
Right. So these would
Exactly.
be, each of us have our own Braille cell at home.
Okay.
Exactly, which is perfect for this little green game that we had created. So each student would get that material previously. And then we decided to use the play tools. So I'm going to share my screen. I should be a pro at this now. I've been doing it since September. Oh no, it says I'm disabled from screen sharing.
Oh, we can fix that.
Give her the
All
power.
right. Try again.
Oh, okay, let's see.
I'll
There we go. Okay. So I'm going to, I guess, just share my screen real quick.
Or,
I'm hoping it goes to. Oh,
yeah,
there's my
I see an empty screen.
Yeah, perfect. And I'm going to open up LessonPix. Can we all see LessonPix now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. This is half of the language I use all day. Is my screen shared right? So in my tray, I have all of the Braille Alphabet created over there. And then I'm going to go up to Play Tools right above it. And we're going to play. Did you see that it's logged out?
Yeah, just log yourself back in.
That's how it works.
Let me stop sharing real quick so I can type all this in.
How long is your password?
I don't know.
All right.
Oh, it says that let's see. Okay. Now we're good.
You're good? You can share
I
your
think
screen
so.
again?
Yep. Let's see.
Look at her stress. This is great.
I don't stress. Oh, there's something I wasn't going to show yet. This is an everyday thing. Okay. So I'm back on the main screen and I should be able to click. There we go.
There you
So
go.
I'm going to
Play
make
tools.
this bigger. Is that all pretty large print
That's
for everybody
enormous.
now?
Absolutely
Awesome.
enormous.
So
Yeah.
this works right away. This works really well for my students because it's already large print. And we're going to go down to, I have to
Draw
move
cards?
Yep, draw cards and the hat game. So we're going to create the game with the Braille alphabet.
Yep.
So what Jen and Karen are going to do is I'm going to verbally tell them what letter they're making, and then they're going to make it at home. So this is something that the students can see as a reference in front of them, and then it shows that they know their dot placements and their letters, however you'd like to do it. So we can show like around how it would be with students. And I love this too, because then it creates a social interaction as well. So you're going to make the letter D. Perfect. So it's difficult seeing the share screen.
Jen, yours is backwards.
It's actually not. It's the way that the screen shares. We had trouble when we were trying to demonstrate this with each other before. But a lot of times what we would do above, we'd have a, what's the name of that? The bird's eye view, I
Like a
guess.
document.
A
camera.
document
A
camera.
document camera. So we could actually see exactly what the students are doing.
Gotcha.
You
I have a
think
kiddo
you
right
can do
now.
a mirror image too on Zoom. So
Yeah.
That's what we're also kind of talking about. We just have to would work out the technology piece of it. But that way we could see, and then I would ask the student, what dots did you use to make the letter D? and then they could tell us what they used. Karen, what do you use?
I used 1, 4, and 5.
That's right.
Excellent. And we could go through and show all of that in the game with the kiddos.
And one of the things we can show, if you'd like, is we actually have 3 versions of these Braille dots. One is this one, which is the plain one, and then we have one with the numbers next to it, right?
Yep.
Which
I'm gonna stop sharing if you'd like to.
sure, I'll be happy to show that part. You bet. She doesn't stress, she says.
I don't, not at all.
Let's talk for a second and show people where to find the Braille dots. So first, they're obviously they're clip art images. They're going to be under clip art. Right here under letters, we have a huge different set of letters. You've got dotted letters and letter cards and uppercase and lowercase. And now we have Braille letters. And so in here, every letter has 3 versions. So, and numbers are in here as well. If you look at the letter D, you'll see a version that has the numbers next to it. You'll see a version that has not just the dots, but the letter underneath it. And then you'll see just the dots. And we have reasons for making all 3 of these, right, ladies? Right. So obviously the one down here at the bottom is the best if you're going to try and like emboss something. If you're going to actually try and use it, you only want the dots in your letters, like these. But if you're trying to teach which numbers the dots are, it's handy to have this one as well. That has the numbers next to it. So I actually have, I can clear my tray. I'll just take a few of these and throw them in my tray. I'll try and be consistent and only get these that have the dots. But if you wanted to make a set of dominoes or something like that, you can do that. You'll see this has got all of the positions in it. They're normal pictures. They'll do whatever it is that you want to do with them. And it's just a nice, easy way to whip something out quickly, download it as a PDF, use it in PowerPoint or whatever else you're looking for. One question I have gotten already is, why did we make this one? Right? Because this seems like it's neither, it doesn't have the numbers and it's not standalone. This one for me is really important in PowerPoint, right? So if you're not a Braille user and you want to build a word in Braille, this will really work well for you, right? You'll have them in your tray. You can just drag them over, you can build your word and they'll have the letter underneath them. So for me, this was a sanity check to make sure I had a clue what I was doing. Because to be entirely honest, Braille is brand new to me. Other than knowing there are 6 dots, and now I know how numbers work. That's what I knew going into this. That makes sense? Lori, any questions off the bat on this or anything in the chat, Beth?
There was just one question, or not question, there was a comment from Judy Schoonover in the chat about the Braille trays. I'm not using the right term. But she had said you could also put something tactile around the edges too. Like there's different things that you could use to create that.
Yay.
That's what I was going to say. Exactly. I was reading.
Do all 3 of you know Judy? She's awesome.
Yeah. Yes, she is. Yep.
Good.
Attended
All right.
her session.
And the other thing, sorry, go ahead.
But we were, Jen kind of alluded to earlier, the pictures in a flash machine that's a heat sensitive capsule paper that we would basically take our printout and run it through the Xerox on the special paper, and then it would raise the carbon in the Xerox, and the heat on the paper raises the black outline. So it's a great way to make a jumbo tactile Braille symbol. But if you don't have one of those, wiki sticks are always a great go-to to go around the different dots.
Now you're talking our language. Judy is the queen of wiki sticks.
And then I kind of created, and I don't mean that you need to do this, Bill, but I kind of created a 4th version. Something that just struck me when I saw your symbol. So I did, I used the tools, and the other outlined cells are still there. It's just very light on the screen. But what I did, I took the M that you had there, and I swapped the colors out. So I swapped the black for the white, and I applied the high contrast. So that's why you get the darker circles. And why I would want this is I think this is a great tool for a peer. We have a lot of peers in our preschool program, that are learning about Braille anyway, or again, another student that might be learning Braille but still has some vision. And this to me screams, take your bingo dabber and fill in those dots. So that's
Yeah.
why I wanted them clear and not colored in. So just another way you can do it. And really, it only took me a few minutes to take your black dots and make them white. And
Yeah, and so one of the things we should probably mention is that the tool that we added the high contrast to, you know, it's still there. You can still change all of the colors. You can change each individual color. We just gave shortcuts to make things high contrast. So if you're in, and just quickly again, if you're in LessonPix and you want to go in and recolor this one, right? You go in here to recolor and customize. You can change any color you want, right? So you can change all the black to be, you know, bright yellow, and it'll make them bright yellow, right? So you can absolutely do that. And then I guess what you did was you gave it a black background, and then you turned on the high contrast filters.
right.
Gotcha. And that
Yep.
totally. And so your background was white.
It was white, yeah.
Gotcha. So more like this, and then you had. Look at you. You're doing really good on that. So you made those.
Yeah,
Exactly.
basically.
Right. And yeah, so that completely worked. So great. Make them however you want, right? Braille is now in LessonPix, and you can adapt them. If we have requests for other styles of Braille, we can add them. It's not that I hate them or anything. You know, it's not that I'm so sick of dots that I you know, never want to see them again as long as I live, or anything at all remotely like that. But give me a week and you can ask me for another style. How about that?
Okay.
So, so those are up there and they're available. So what else are we going to show folks? What can you, so between the high contrast and the Braille, show us some stuff that you've done in LessonPix and tell us how you use it in your classroom. Whoever wants to go first.
I'm going to go ahead and share some things. So yes, LessonPix is visual creatives, but we're going to show how we take some curriculum materials and do the visuals and tactual items together. And I work with the students in early learning. And so I just attended, this is nationwide, but it's called Growing Up Wild. And it's a free program, and it correlates with like the NACE standards and the Head Start outcomes. And it's great because it's, and I'll share the links because Karen's going to talk next. So if anybody's interested in it, but it gives you tons of activities. And I'm going to show you one that goes with the spiders. And this is a big, huge book. So how I would share this with my students, and we're really focusing on social emotional, this area of social emotional, especially surrounding COVID and anything to do with nature. And I personally share technology tools using nature, and it's really a fun way. So I thought I would show you some of the things that we did with spiders. So I'm going to share my screen.
Yep. I've already given you permission. I learned.
Okay. Let me see. Here we go. All right. So I took the information from that book and I made it into just a basic story. And you know, you can download it. I could download it as the book, and each student could have the paper book at home with them, and we could add textures or whatnot. Or you can just download it as a PowerPoint and add audio to it. So you have a quick, easy, switch accessible audiobook. So that's just what I did here. And then just doing something, just by doing something simple, like adding a transition. So spiders have excellent vision. They have 4 pairs of large eyes. It was super easy just to use the tools to combine pictures. Just, you know, using the two, doing the high contrast and going through and adding the audio. They have lots of small hairs that help them climb up any surface. Even using like the tools just to draw the little small hair on there. Super easy to do. Quick, like Brittany said earlier, to make that. Another thing that I did is, and I'm going to show you the toys that we have. But just using the, so here's a picture of a jumping spider that I got from the internet. And if I just use the remove background tool that's free. You can remove the background and then upload that. So I did upload that into LessonPix, and I used that to create a quick activity, which I'll show you. And then I also use the bubble letter tool outside of LessonPix. And then I uploaded that. And I know that we can do that inside of LessonPix as well. So I'm gonna, I just want to show you that through sharing my screen, and I'm gonna stop sharing so I can show you. So let me see what. So I took items from the PowerPoint story. And so I have the symbols. So this is just an old IntelliTalk.
IntelliKeys.
You could not even update with tempo loop on them. So a big part for us
It's
is
a white one. You can throw those away. The blue ones you have to keep.
right. We're not going to throw them away though, because they're excellent tilt boards, excellent slant boards. And a big thing for us is just the materials that we use to create that background, or the Velcro sensitive materials. So all of the materials, you know, just have Velcro, real objects. So the jumping spider, after they read the story, they live in the forest, the mountains, or the grassland. So we have those, the picture with the tactile, which we can then move to a game board. So Karen and I have a lot of fun going to all the stores like Five Below, Dollar Tree, all that kind of stuff. And at Five Below, they actually have little jumping spiders that are voice sensitive. So this is great. And they pair with the communication devices. They work that way. We learned through that book, that curriculum, that early learning, free Growing Wild curriculum, that jumping spiders don't make webs. They use a tether. And I did learn earlier this week at one of the sessions, like, I forget, it was like stop the link, like making sure that we use, you know, words that are appropriate. And even though I might have thought tether, it was in the book for 3 to 4 year olds. So we added tethers to the spiders. And then you can use, so what you would do is, so I recorded songs that are all about jump, different songs. You turn the spiders on and they will move to the sound. And so we just used a dollar store mat. And then we learned jumping spiders eat bugs, other spiders, and even pollen and nectar. So you can put both of these spiders on here and use your voice output device and have them, they're going to move around. And if they eat the bug, you take that off. Whoever has the most wins. So there you have a game. And it was super easy. I was able to just use the LessonPix communication device to download that. And then when I was talking about the tether, so one thing that we really do is just use a bunch of different containers. So if you want to contain the spiders in the black, think about using like the black folders. So then different spiders. So here's the high contrast one, and here's the lacing card. So I just put it right in the lacing cards.
Right.
I was able to do the high contrast. Here's the one that I removed the background. That's the real photo. And then I was even able to do the one of the actual toy. And
Very
it took
cool.
seconds. And even make a quick eye gaze for him. If you ask, do you want them to eat the bugs? Do you want them to eat flowers? So I could put different things on the mat. I have real flowers. I have different bugs. I have pictures of bugs. And I still have, and I know we've shown this before, is the light up table. No, there we go.
Yeah,
And
those are a hit.
again,
That's a hit at my house now. We went ahead and grabbed one of those.
Good. So I didn't take the time, since I wasn't at school, to this is the overhead transparency. So I could do that in the bugs, or you can, actually use the play bugs or whatever to match your your pictures or your LessonPix items. So I know that was a lot of everything,
No, you're great. You're great. Absolutely.
but the point is like you can mix, you know, different media and do it quickly and easily.
Yeah,
Jen,
and
you
you
had
used a lot of
said-
stuff.
Jen, you had said you were early childhood, but really that's so appropriate at across grade levels because that's a science, that's science, you
Right.
know.
And so that's my big thing is like with STEAM and STEM, we do the technology piece. And like I said, we like to use nature as a tool to teach technology. And so I was thinking too, like when we're back in and we're out in the green space, you could use the puppets, which is what I did for some, and do the headbands. And then the students using the voice output can, you know, it's almost like musical chairs or whatever can move around, and some can have the bugs on them and some can be the spiders, and it just be a game. Because like Brittany said, we have peers, or Karen said, we have peers in the program. And so it's just an activity that would include everybody. So it's just taking it from that curriculum and how we would use it.
And all of that was using kind of out of the box templates, right? So we have the not GoTalk, the Big Mac template, the 5-inch button. I saw that you used our lacing cards, which we have a lacing card template. Like all of those looked like you were able to leverage a lot of what we're providing, and some of the ideas of like print on the transparency and use on the tracing board. We've talked about before. If you want to look at one of our other LessonPix live things, I'm sure we have a link on where to find it on Amazon. We bought one. Lori, did you like it?
I love it.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
All right. Karen, what you got?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Good. I figured you would be by now.
Okay, so a lot of the students that I work with have multiple disabilities, and so they're working for a certificate of completion and not a diploma, so very functional skills. And one of the curriculums that they use is unique learning system. So I know there's a lot of differences between the curriculums. I'm not going to talk about it, but I'm just going to show how I'm infusing LessonPix. And a lot of my teachers are some of the new subscribers in our license at the school. So I'm kind of helping them learn LessonPix by providing some of the materials for them to show the power of how they can expand the use of the curriculum. So this month's book for one of the classrooms that I'm working with, the elementary classroom, is called Symbols in America. And whether we were virtual or in person, all the kids get an individual book. And so it usually means they download it, they laminate it, they braille it, they put a texture on it if needed. So it's a lot of work every month going into these books. But when I looked at some of the pictures for in here, there's one in particular that goes, so the United States has many symbols. And so all 4 of these symbols are on one page and not high contrast. So that's going to be my focus for how can we make this better for them or more clear. So the first thing I did was I went into the high contrast materials, high contrast tools in LessonPix, and I made them.
Look at that. Nice and clear.
Yeah. So very easy to do, and gotta bring up the mat again. This is something, you know, like Jen said, we love to shop at the dollar stores, and these little cheap doormats, which I wouldn't use them for that. She found that a teacher was saying to use them for little sitting spaces, and you can cut these apart, but they're Velcro sensitive, and we could send these home very inexpensively to all the kids to use and have a nice big background for them.
Right.
But I just love that the using the tool that makes that bold, it just pops. And this is a much better picture than what's in the printed book. So I'm showing these to the teachers so they can use them as a supplement when the kids are reading the book. Now, the other thing that happens is that some of our students also need the real object. So again, using the mat, we can put the two
Sure.
together. So And we get very creative. Sometimes, like when it was a part of community, we might use things around our own house to show that, that there's a house. But a lot of the kids get their own every month individual baggie of not only the symbols, but real objects for that hands-on learning. Right now is a perfect time for finding a fake rose at the dollar store too, for the rose in the book. And bonus,
Lights up.
lights up. So
Wow, that's fancy.
right. So it's just a great resource to have. The other thing that I'm going to share my screen now that I can do is using the PowerPoint and that's not what I wanted.
That's cute.
Thank you. Why did it?
Oh, look, we can read your email.
Oh my gosh, that was not supposed to come up.
Yeah.
Of course. There we go. That's what's supposed to
There
be
you
there. All right, so we'll see if I'm still logged in here. So I'm going to go to the Play Tools, and of course, I'm not logged in either. Okay, so I've got the Play Tools. I got to move our faces out of the way so I can see.
Oh,
There we
gotcha.
Go.
Well, the
Okay.
good news is we don't see that.
Oh, good. That's
Yeah.
good. No. Okay, so I wanted to do the spinner because, and I'm using the symbols that I made high contrast that go with the ULS book. And the
Right.
way I would then do this, some of our kids might just have matching be one of their goals, or can they find, so the teacher may spin the spinner and it lands on the tree. Can you find the tree? So they either look in their baggie that might have an object. They might have the high contrast symbol. For some, it might even be the word. So here again, just whatever, customized and easy to do within the same class. But the way I would use PowerPoint with it is some of our students would not be able to see this tree. And I thought I made a black background in PowerPoint. Whoops, wrong button. If I drag it over to PowerPoint, I can then make this tree nice
Big enough for
and
them to
big.
see.
Yeah, so it's almost like I'm creating that background just like I have with the playmat, but on the
Right.
screen. So it's great for virtual learning. Then I could also even make a quick and easy choice board, or we've talked about the two symbols. So just drag that flag over to and reposition everything, resize, and then we've got a simple choice board. Was it the tree or was it the flag? So just something simple to do, but very easy with the tools that you have built in, which is awesome.
Wow. I'm glad you're enjoying it. It certainly seems like you're making really good use of the new stuff we added.
Yeah.
Right. You got the Play Tools up. You've got the black background. You've got the high contrast. You've got Brittany's got the Braille going on. It seems like this is working, and none of it existed in October, right?
Right.
Really, none of these high contrast and other things existed before we started talking to you. So first, thank you for making it, for being a sounding board as we worked our way through this to say, is this what you want? And you guys actually came back and said, no, really not what we want. And we reacted pretty quickly, I think.
Yes. You did.
Beth and Lori, I see some. Lori, you have high contrast stuff up in your background.
I did. I made a new background and swapped it. I had it, but I didn't have it quite ready. But yeah.
But now you do.
Contrast, ASL, and Braille.
That's right. And so that's another thing we should talk about. We don't have somebody on from the Maryland School for the Deaf, Lori, but we did announce that.
That was a little poke.
That was a little, it it was just payback at this point. But we should probably talk about that. So one of the things that's been happening over the last couple months is, Lori, you've been busy. Not with Braille dots. I took on the Braille dots not because you couldn't do them, but because I could do these, and you were busy with one of your favorite things in the whole wide world.
ASL is never ending, and there's still a tremendous amount to do.
But
you know, it's very similar to the number of Braille you did.
No. So I did 130 pictures for Braille. I would bet Lori has done 1,000 ASL pictures with all the
Quite a
styles.
lot of
I was gonna
ASL.
say like 10 times what you did, right?
Yeah, and I whined and bitched about it the entire time. You want to show the ASL stuff that you added?
Just the category?
Yeah,
You
just show the new stuff.
go ahead and share your screen.
Share my screen? You betcha. You can direct me. All right, so under clip art, ASL.
ASL. The biggest area that I've been growing is the core vocabulary.
All right, so that's ASL core vocab right here.
Yep. As well as, so you can see you can make a core board with the ASL symbols.
Right.
Particularly for if you're teaching the assistants in the room to model as well.
And just so everybody understands, there are at least three of every one of these, right? So if you go in here, there's this one and that one and the stencil version and the darker skin and then the darker skin stencil version. And Lori gets to do them all. She gets to do them all. So it is thousands of symbols that end up having to get done here.
The other area that we had a lot of requests was feelings or emotions.
So under ASL, we now have ASL feelings.
Feelings, and in there are even more subtle feelings than
Like
just
embarrassed.
sad. Correct.
Yeah. Frustrated. These are great. These are absolutely great.
Express. So yeah, they were very important to add to our library.
Yep, and I know it's never ending, and there until every ASL symbol, there is no such thing as every ASL symbol, right? I mean, there's always new ones, right?
Still working on English, other symbols.
Yeah. So, but these are here, and we've got hundreds more, thousands total, but hundreds of different symbols that were added. There's a school. This was already here, right? Was ASL school already here?
Yes, but there are some new pictures in there, particularly like paint, writing, several new ones that have to do. Glue is new, a lot of new ones.
So
Yeah.
there's a huge investment of time here, and I don't think this exists in any of our competitors to this extent. And maybe people can correct me, but I'm going to say so whether it's right or wrong.
Click to the sharing center.
Yeah.
Brand new material I made just a little bit ago. I'm trying to make materials with our Braille in it. So you can see where it says learning letter sounds, or even
Here.
further down, learning letters. That goes with the Jack Hartman song.
Okay.
Learning letter sounds, which is on YouTube, and a lot of fun. But it gives the different modalities for your classrooms that have, all kinds of kiddos in there.
Gotcha.
Play around, and you can do that on PowerPoint as well. Open it
This
up.
has does it have all the letters? Look at this. Look at all the letters.
All the letters
Yeah.
and letter, Braille, and ASL.
That's
That's so
awesome.
cute.
And-
And I just wanted to point out, like, I wouldn't have, it's sometimes just how your brain works, what template you choose. So like this could be put together as a book, Lori, but you used the large and small template, because then you could have the big picture of the alligator with the 3 ways the letter is made at the bottom, which usually would have been something that you cut up and you put on, which you could do with this, but you could also bind it and have it as a book, which would be really cool.
That would be fun. Yep. And you can certainly cut off the bottom and match it. Lots of different things you can do.
Yeah. Or you can also clear your tray, load this up, and open it up in PowerPoint, right? So you can click here, download it as PowerPoint, and have the pictures on the right. You can use the spinner, the draw tools, all that good stuff, right?
Have fun playing.
And there is
That's
a question in the Facebook chat from Cheryl. Can you share the light up board that Jen showed? So can Jen share that board again?
Yeah, and Jen, if you want to on the Facebook, if you want to post the link, that would be great too. But let's I'll turn
Or
off
if
my
you
screen.
post it in the chat, I can copy it to Facebook.
There you go. So here's add pin. I don't know what that means. Oh, look at that. I got you both pinned. I didn't know I could do that. That's so much better. Hold on. I didn't know I could do this. Where's that?
Holding the light board, so her arm was getting tired.
Where,
No, there
you go.
here's the light board, and I'll go into Facebook afterwards and add the link to it. And I did keep the box closed since like last time, and we just ordered it off of Amazon, I believe.
And it works great. So when it's plugged in, it's brighter, but even on the battery, it's usable.
Yeah, and I haven't touched the battery since I haven't charged it. And I did want to tell you, Lori, you will be happy to hear that a few weeks ago, I started adding high contrast ASL Alphabet to the kindergarten Google Meet homepage where the parents read just the notes. So I'll add a picture. I will add I've already been uploading that so that everyone at home can be learning the letters that way. And I've done them in high contrast. And I think I shared them in the whole alphabet in the sharing center.
Probably need to add those to the main library for everybody because it's just so powerful.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Let's see if I can figure out how to I figured out how to pin two of you, but then you can't unpin you. It's just going to be that kind of day. All right. So we're finally back to normal. I was going to show the PowerPoint, but you all know how that works. And we are getting probably pretty close to quarter till. So
Yes.
we passed quarter till?
Yeah.
Sue me, that's life. So is there anything that we need to show on low vision stuff? Brittany, is there anything? How about this? What are you making next now that you have these tools?
So we have about 4 to 6 week units that we use. So our next unit is actually called Babies. So we'll be using a lot of the people and high contrast materials with that. One thing, I actually was snowed in all week, so I did not get a chance to grab what I wanted to share. But to describe it, one thing we do is show the one picture up on the screen on PowerPoint. We actually use Google Meet, so I use a lot of the Google Slides, which is great because I can just convert the PowerPoint over to Google Slides. So I show one on the screen, and then this pre-K is a lot of parent being my hands sort of at home. So a lot of the parents then will put 2 or 3 choices depending on the child in front of them. So we have a picture of a dog on the screen. We use the LessonPix dog. We can make it contrast for the students who need contrast. The students who don't need contrast get the regular picture, how they would need it. So I show it on the screen, and then in front of them, they'd have a picture of a dog, a cat, and a person. And we'll say, okay, find the one on the screen. Because we're always trying to build up their complexity, build up their visual skills. So that's the next sort of task we're going to be taking on. I wish I could share it with you all.
Yeah, you can come back. We'll do another LessonPix live. We do them all the time.
Oh, I'd love that.
Yeah. So,
but I wanted to also say, Lori, the last thing you just shared with the alligator and the different ways. I love that because every time we do letter sounds, we do the Jack Hartman songs. I think they're super inclusive. I also have students who do no sign language in my class. So we also always talk about that regardless of vision. And we just describe it. So the other day we were talking about the letter B, and I just say, okay, you're going to put your hands up with your fingers touching and tuck your thumb in. So it'd be great to show those pictures as well. So I'm really excited to kind of do both the Braille and the ASL together.
And now you can steal Lori's stuff. We are all about stealing here. So go
love
ahead.
that. I'm all about cutting the planning time down.
That's right.
That's right. Exactly.
All right. So Beth and Lori,
Yes.
any questions that we need to answer?
I don't know. I do want to add that we do have an article that I just wrote truly minutes before we came on.
Can I show it?
About Braille, and as more materials are created using the Braille, I can put them within this article to give you one location with starting point ideas. So Karen, Jen, and Brittany, if you have ideas or if you see anything that, again, I whip this up as fast as fast this afternoon, including your Braille bingo, Bill.
Oh, look at that. That was mine. This is my test. This is my test of the two different things. It tests both the Braille and it tested the Lexon font that we added. So I was testing lots of stuff in here. And this actually shows the 3 different styles and gives you a link to the page as well.
And it's free, so you don't need.
Yeah, this Braille bingo is free for everybody. There's I think 5 pages in it, 5 different boards you can use. I made that free last night. But yeah, so it's got a lot of the stuff we've talked about are kind of in here.
I made playing cards with the Braille, and I would probably do something to make that more tactile. But again, I'd ask Jen and Brittany and my experts there.
A little puff paint probably goes a long way, right?
That's exactly what I was going to say. Puff paint or even just hot glue. You can do hot glue right on all of those dots.
Love hot glue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say too, you could even just print it on cardstock and just actually Braille it for the kiddos who are already, reading Braille and learning the actual size of the letters.
Brittany, tell me how to do that. Do you push it through from the back? What do you do?
I'm sorry?
You push through from the back? What on earth? What do you mean?
For Brailing or?
I'm an engineer. I need to know how it works, but I've never done this before.
No, that's okay. So like on a regular printer, you would just print on like the thick paper through the bypass tray. And then that paper is thick enough to be put right into a Braille machine. Unfortunately, I just moved and my life is in boxes around me. So I have no idea where that is. But you just put the Braille paper in the back and you just Braille on the 6 keys there are.
So you're putting an entire sheet on top.
I would put the entire sheet in and then we would just cut out around the cards.
Okay.
Another option is we have Braille label makers. And so it looks just like a label maker.
Proxtucker makes one, right? Doesn't
yes, they do. Yep. And then just it's a Braille sticker then. You put a Braille sticker on top.
I'll make a note to bring that next time.
Push from the back and somehow get these things to look raised. I was all impressed.
You could do it that way too.
Just put it through. It'd be really quick to put it through the Braille writer.
All right. So so one of the things we did do early on with LessonPix that we should probably bring up because we haven't talked about it in forever. We had I don't want to say a partnership, but we early on realized that if you used our pure black and white images and you printed them on like the Phoenix embosser, it totally works. You can totally feel what's going on that page. So I'm talking about, so all of our pictures, if anybody doesn't know this, this is not about high contrast. This is just every picture. I mean, the vast majority of the pictures, in addition to having armpit hair, perfect. Right. In addition to having this version of armpit hair, there is a black and white version of this, right? And you can totally print this with a Braille embosser, and you can feel the shape of this, which is exactly what we all want to do, right? We want to feel the arm.
Pick the weirdest images to show people. I'm just wondering.
I do the first thing that pops up on the screen. Here, we'll do a smiley face, Beth, because that'll make you happier.
I don't care.
A bunny.
We want to talk about feeling armpit hair. Seriously.
The angry bunny.
There you go. We'll do an angry bunny. Is that better?
Bunny.
There you go. But because these are simple and pure black and white, they really do emboss very well. So if you're using something like an embosser, I'm sure all of you have access to them, but most of us don't. If you want, those pictures are there and they do work very well. Have any of you ever done that?
Not yet, but now
you will.
Now I will.
There you go. All right. I got 2 women all mad at me over armpit hair.
No, I don't care. Just I'm cracking up.
I have 1 woman all upset with me about it. Armpit hair.
Long day in the booth.
Oh yeah. So we should actually. So any other questions in the Facebook, Lori?
Now, Teresa mentioned the book, The Black Book of Colors. Have you guys ever done that story before? Jen has.
Jen is saying yes. You're muted. Tell us about it.
Well, Teresa said in the comment that it describes colors to someone with low vision, such as yellow tastes like mustard and feels soft like baby chicks.
I
So
think I actually have it in the room close to me, but yeah, that would be a good one to put to do on here and replicate it.
That's what I was
Very cool.
back to her.
Yeah,
All right.
so I have to check that out.
All right. What else do we need to cover? Anything?
I put a link in the chat to the high contrast ASL alphabet cards that Jen made. If you wanted to pull those up, or if we want to be able to use them, I certainly saved them, the tray of them, for future use.
So those are here. So those are the ASL high contrast alphabet cards by Jen Keenan.
Nice.
And so in addition to just having them as picture cards, obviously you can load them and make something different. But those are great. Those are very sharp.
I like those a lot. They
Yeah.
might
Did
fit
you
into
use
the
our
library.
filter for that, or did you color them by hand? Jen, you're muted, dear.
Yeah, the pictures wherever my meet. I just used your filter.
That's great. They came out great.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are great.
Thank you.
All right. So we've got those. We're going to share that link in both Facebook and the chat. Thank you, Beth. And I think this kind of, I mean, we have not always been as focused as we should be on low vision kiddos. I think we are doing better now. Is there anything next to do? How about Brittany? What's next? What do you want next?
Well, I know you mentioned to Lori that she was making a lot of ASL symbols.
Yeah.
And I know that you did the Braille alphabet, but there's also a lot of contractions in Braille if you'd like to draw some more dots.
So what I'd like to do is, I don't actually understand Braille yet. So I know that A through Z is A through Z, and I know that 1 through 9 and 0 are A through L after using a number sign. I have no clue how to do punctuation. I have no clue how to do other things. I didn't want to start forming words. The minute we start forming words, we might as well use a font, right? We have Braille fonts. I could add a Braille font if you think that that's important. But Beth went like that.
I actually do think that'd be super important, because there are a lot of different ways, I guess. How do I word this? Like, there's contractions that make each word simpler and shorter, because Braille is such a long language.
Right.
For example, I know like one Harry Potter book is like 7 volumes.
Okay.
Something like that. So that's why contractions make it a lot shorter. There are letters that represent words as well. So for example, B is but, C is can, and it goes through for the alphabet. But that was just an idea. We could also collaborate, and we can go over punctuation and things like that.
I think the first thing I would like to do, if we're going to add anything, would be, I know that there's a punctuation point, like a 1 dot that means comma if it's by itself, and it changes the next thing into punctuation. Does that sound correct? If there's no space after it. Okay.
Sort of. There's different symbol indicators. So like, for example, you can use the 6 dots like on the muffin tin, and you can do a period, an exclamation point, a question mark. It goes through all the basic punctuation.
I think if I was going to add anything immediately, I would want to make sure that we have the things necessary so that people can build all of the punctuation.
Right.
Because I don't think that that's in there right now. I think given our target space, this is a good start.
Oh,
right?
absolutely. Yeah. I think one thing would be maybe just the outlines of the Braille cell we were kind of talking about before, because then that gives TVIs.
Oh, you mean make an empty one? Make one that has no dots on it.
Exactly.
Sure. I can do that.
And then that way,
that one I could do.
I could fill it in with the different colors.
Yeah.
To make any combination.
You know, one thing I could do is I could actually make every one of the cells a different color, and then you could turn them off or on as you wanted.
That'd be great. But I think this is awesome. You don't have to do anything else.
No, if we don't know what's coming next, we don't know where to aim, right? So we're good.
No, this is perfect.
I'm glad you think so. I'm going to take a quick look myself on. So Beth says she wants a Braille font. Okay, so how about this, ladies? You guys can do me a favor. If you would send me a good, free or really inexpensive to license Braille font, I will add it. Okay. So like I know they have several in Google Fonts, but I don't know which ones are good. Send me a good font and I will add it as one of our font options. Okay.
Awesome.
All right.
I have to
All
say,
right.
you all are true to your word, because at the end of our last time, I said, what about if we would upload the Braille Alphabet? And here we are with the Braille Alphabet uploaded. So I know the Braille font will come next.
We generally try not to. We occasionally miss targets, but it's never intentional, right? And Lori will tell you I work well to a deadline. Lori, when did the Braille dots get done?
Weeks ago.
Yeah, this morning. So they were redone this morning. So yeah, we'll be happy to get a Braille font. That's an easy one to add. And then Britton, if you want to send me the few additional ones you'd like me to add to get the most bang for it, I will be happy to do that. All right, Lori, help us out. Is there
I love
anything else?
these ideas. I love the materials you guys shared. I think they were a huge hit with people who are watching as well. Just the simple stuff you showed, even using the mat. It was a dollar store mat with the Velcros on, and just all those modalities were so incredible. And the spiders, thank you so much.
All right, I appreciate you guys being here. Tomorrow we have Miss Jane Odom from Prenke Romick, also head of the AAC Language Lab, and one of our favorite folks in the AAT space is going to join us. To be honest, Lori, I don't know what we're talking about. We're probably going to have to wing it tomorrow.
We wing it every day.
Yeah, maybe we'll talk about high contrast unity symbols. Anyways, we will do that tomorrow at 4 o'clock. And for those of you who are at ATIA, I hope you are getting a lot out of this virtual conference. Make sure you go visit your vendors. Poor people like Beth end up sitting in a booth all day. And it's great when people show up, but it really stinks when they don't. So make sure that you take a look at all of our favorite folks that are our partners. I don't think Maryland School of the Deaf has a blind. See, sorry. I told you we were going to say the beginning of the session, I said one of us would screw up, but I don't think you guys have a booth this year, correct? No. So lucky you. We have people manning it all the time, 11 to 4 every day. And we'll do that again. Tomorrow will be our last day. Who is on tomorrow? Is it me?
Sure. I don't know. We should
I
work that out offline. Yeah.
I will be in the booth, or I will force somebody else to be in the booth tomorrow from 11 to 4 on the way to doing the look at it, not it, like all the not it's. But come see us if you have any questions about LessonPix. Tell us. We will be happy to answer them. And as these ladies will tell you, if we don't have a good answer, we'll be happy to fix it. Right?
Tomorrow's our last day in the booth, so if anybody does want to come see us and talk to us and just. We're just hanging out, so come by and
we give away a free LessonPix every day. If you
we have a big drawing tomorrow, right?
And we have a big drawing tomorrow. That you're not only going to get the LessonPix, you're going to get a box of swag. So you're going to get like Lenny pens, and you're going to get a gift card, and you're going to get all this crap we have around here that says LessonPix on it.
I think Beth ran to get.
Are they going to get?
I love my squish.
Are they going to get one of these?
I got one of those.
It's upside down, but yeah. Oh no, it's not
upside down.
It's reflective.
It's reflective. License plate cover that says LessonPix. That's what you all want.
That's what everybody wants.
What everybody wants. All right.
Love the conference swag.
My daughter actually said, "Oh, that would make a really cool picture frame." So just as an alternative for a lesson, she's like, "Oh, that would make a great picture frame."
Okay. I think we are officially out of things to talk about, ladies. Thank you for joining us.
Thank
you. We will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thanks.